when he did that, oh my God, shit blew up. I'm not gatekeeping with you guys. Literally from this strategy, Brendan got 7 new clients in 1 month. If you do the math on that, that's probably going to be a lot of money. I want you to have some of the secret sauce so that you can get a taste of success before you even become a part of it too. Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Coaches Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence. Welcome. Today's little life update is about getting back on track with blocking out and time blocking with my calendar. I have definitely been a little bit hot and cold with this in the past, and I just think the reason why I stopped doing this or stepped away from this a little bit and really was resistant to coming back to it was because of the fact that I would block it so rigidly and so religiously that I was like not getting the things done. Or when it would come to that task, I'd be, I'd be blending a task. And so I thought it would take me an hour, and then it would blend into being an hour and a half. And then I didn't have the time for it. And I just kept feeling like I was not achieving what I'd set out to achieve based on the time blocks that I had. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just not going to do it. And then that led to me going to the complete other end of the spectrum, which was just like having all of this white space in my calendar outside of client calls. And it led to like a lot of just procrastination or not getting things done, or just, I guess, not being on top of what I needed to. So I know I needed to come back to this, and I am so glad I did. And I want to give you some tips as to how to do this if you're struggling as well, because the new method that I'm using is so much better for me than the old method that I was using. So previously I would block times and I would have like everything like chocked really full, and there'd be like almost no room for error. And then I would also have like really overly ambitious things where I'd try and get things that should take me, maybe like probably 2 hours to get done. I'd like try and get done in a 45-minute block. And it was just not realistic for me to be able to get those things done. So what I have done is instead with my new time blocking is firstly reverse engineered it. So the first thing I did is I blocked out all my personal stuff. So when I start work, when I finish work, and like hard stops for that, when I'm going to the gym, when I'm seeing my friends, when I'm, going to the hairdresser, like all the appointments and everything, blocking all that out and recurring everything that is a weekly recurring task. So whether I'm going for a walk in the morning, or I know that I don't start work before 8 o'clock, I'm putting that into my schedule first before I put my business things in, because Parkinson's law tells us that we will take the amount of time that we have allocated to get something done. So if we have all of this time to get something done, then we will probably blend it into other areas of our life, i.e., we might work later than we said we wanted to because we haven't got a hard stop or a block being like, no, this is my non-work time. So blocking out the personal stuff first has been really helpful, and also helps me see like what I've got on. And then when I go into the business blocking, the first thing that I block out is number one, a little section on the start of Mondays that is like to map my entire week. And then each block. So I have what like client where I'm taking clients, and then where I'm not. And where I'm not taking clients and doing stuff on the business rather than in it, I will block those out in certain categories. So having themed days can be helpful. So if you're only going to take, let's say, sales calls on like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays or something, you could have those as your themed days. But then looking at this in terms of I do like content on specific days and block that out. So I know, okay, like Wednesday is my content day. And so I don't book calls with anyone on a Wednesday. And that helps me get really clear, and sort of, it's a bit of a rhythm, right? Like, you go to the gym on like a Monday morning at whatever time. Same with, what you're doing with your days in business, particularly as an online coach, and particularly if you have, white space outside of your client sessions, even if it is in person, so that you're like, okay, Tuesday is the day that I do all my invoicing, all of my programming, whatever it is, so that you can get that done in that block. That's been really helpful for me. And then The other things with those blocks is that I have blocked out what I call chaos time. So I have half an hour every day of chaos time. Now, this can end up happening at whatever time of the day that it is necessary. And all of these things, if you have heard me say before, I speak about the fact that we can reschedule things in our calendar, but we don't delete them. Yeah. So our chaos time, I have half an hour every single day. And that is not to get like your most important tasks done. That is in case shit hits the fan, in case you get an email and you like need to respond to it urgently, in case, a client calls in sick and you have to follow them up, or, in case you need to, follow up a payment or whatever, right? So the chaos time is there to allow you buffer room every day. It also helps you to go, what are the things that I do in my week every single week in my business, not just my personal life? So for me, that is checking our biz community page, making sure that everyone has had their questions answered, any support that is additional that is required, I go and do that. Yeah. It also means that I have a 15-minute block to check my emails. Yeah. So I'm not just checking them randomly and have no idea of when I'm doing it. It's like I check my emails once a day and it's in this 15-minute block and then it's done. Okay. Emails don't need to be checked more than once a day because when someone emails you, they're not expecting an instant reply. Okay. If we are in our inbox, whether it's our Instagram DM inbox, and maybe that's something you need to put as something that you check daily, right? But if we're just in it randomly, it can become a little bit more chaotic because you don't have a structure to it. And then it turns into, oh, I was on Instagram to check my DMs, but then now I've been scrolling for half an hour. Okay. As opposed to like, this is my 10-minute timer to check Instagram. And then after that, I have another block of work where I need to do something different. And I found that that has helped me be really productive with my time while also just being realistic with the fact that I'm not going to get a 2-hour task done in 45 minutes, and allowing myself to say, okay, like if this is the amount of time I have decided that I'm choosing to work, then I need to get my things done within that time period, and being flexible in how you approach that, but like really firm with the goals that you want to achieve in business. So hopefully that little tip helps you too, because we actually did that with our Biz Academy students in our recent in-person event that we ran that was so fucking phenomenal. And people got insane like breakthroughs and mindset shifts and, reached out to people they've never reached out to before and like really just accelerated their timeline of getting shit done and getting prepped and having a really clear strategy and plan for moving forward, which was so, so amazing. Um, and then we had some cheeky wines and some incredible dinners out as well, and just catching up and being around other business owners who are doing incredible things and supporting each other, and just the amount of love and support that this community has for one another. And like half the time I was, just sitting there in awe, being like watching them help and serve each other as well, to just provide so much more value to what it actually is like to be inside our Biz Academy. So if that sounds like something that you want in on, the link is in the show notes for you to apply to be part of the Biz Academy. And I look forward to seeing your name in there if that is something that you are interested in. But today we're going to be talking about Brendan, because he got 7 new clients in just 1 month with this simple free strategy. And I'm not gatekeeping with you guys. If you listen to this podcast, then you are a coach who is already spending time, effort, and energy to get better in business. And I want you to have some of the secret sauce that we teach our students inside the Biz Academy so that you can get a taste of success before you even become a part of it too. And if you're already in our academy, then this is something that we've probably spoken about, but may just be something to reinforce for you. And I think you'll get some juice out of it too. So there are 4 steps that I have listed out as to how Brendan got these 7 clients in a month. These are new people that he didn't know, that were total strangers off of the internet. Yeah. And he doesn't have a big following. I just want to caveat that. I don't know exactly how many followers he has, but it's like definitely under 2,000, probably closer to 1,000. So it's not about having a big audience. It's not about him posting every single day online. But what he did do, first and foremost, is he niched down. Now, you may have heard me speak about Brendan before. Brendan is a dunk specialist coach. So he teaches basketballers how to dunk better, or how to dunk if they can't dunk yet. Yeah. really, really hyper niche. And I know that some of you are like, but Xenia, I want to help everyone, or I can help everyone. And that's great. However, people are going to be so much less likely to refer other people to you if you are broad and vague. Over the weekend, we had another student who was kind of just doing online coaching for anyone and everyone. And it worked really well for a time for him because he had a lot of in-person referrals. Yeah. But when it comes to the online space, it needs to be hyper niche because you're competing with every single other coach. So Brendan did this. He went from like, oh, I'm going to just do some online coaching to let's niche down into dunking. And that's because he's a basketballer. He can dunk. He's taught people how to dunk before. So it just made so much sense for him. And when he did that, oh my God, shit blew up. And I don't mean he got like 1 million followers or he went viral or anything like that, but like his actual business ROI and profit increased dramatically and the client numbers that he's serving in the online space. Yeah. So niching down, so important, particularly in the online space. I cannot stress this enough. Imagine if you were at a networking event and someone's like, oh, cool. Like, who do you help? Like, who could I potentially refer to you? And you're like, oh yeah, anyone who like wants to get better in the gym. You're like, that is a lot of fucking people. And I know lots of people. And so therefore no one comes to mind. Yeah. So what we did over the weekend, not with Brendan, but with another student, is we said, okay, instead of working with everyone, let's work with a problem that people have. So initially, we're talking to finance professionals and he was like, okay, I'm going to work with them and help them get the results. And I'm like, that's great. However, finance professionals who want to exercise is not a problem. That's like a demographic or category of people. What is the problem that they have? And by the end of our 3 days, we ended up really, really solidly sticking to something that he'd been going back and forth on for a while, which was Achilles tendinopathies. Yeah. And so it's no longer about finance professionals, which he has an extensive knowledge background in supporting those people. So that makes sense for him. However, that's not a problem, finance professionals who want to be fit. Yeah. But the problem of someone who with an Achilles tendinopathy doesn't matter, if they're a mom, finance professional, if they're a teenager, whatever, if they have the problem of I have an Achilles tendinopathy and I want to, I want to get back to playing my sport that I was previously got injured in, that's a problem. And it's really, really clear. And if I said to you, do you know anyone who has an Achilles tendinopathy or like has like torn their Achilles? If you know someone, you would go, oh my God, I absolutely do. His name's Simon. Yeah. And Simon, shout out, is actually someone that I used to work with who did actually rupture his Achilles. But you remember and it's so much easier to refer someone to them as well. So niching down helps with your online, but it also helps in person because it's really hard to refer just literally anyone to someone's services because it's like, well, I don't know if you're a specialist in this, like maybe you could get results, but like, what do you specialize in? Like, what do you actually do? So niching down for Brendan, going to dunk coaching, and for Finn, who is in our Biz Academy program, who was there over the weekend, niching down into Achilles tendinopathy is just chef's kiss. So much easier for you to get great results. So it's the first thing that we did with Brendan to get 7 new clients in 1 month. The second thing we did is got really fucking clear on the offer. Okay. So yes, you can have a problem, but you need to have a way that you solve it, an offer and the method or the process that you use to get there. So we created Brendan's signature, like 3 steps to dunk method or whatever he ended up calling it. And it was really clear as to the 3 things that they needed to do to get to the outcome. So it wasn't just, I'm great at dunking and I can teach you too. It was a signature system or a method and the offer as to like the online coaching, the price points and whatnot. We got really clear on that. And by clear, I mean, we got clear on, well, what's the minimum commitment that they need to get a result? It wasn't just, let's choose 12 weeks because everyone chooses 12 weeks. It was how long until people start start to see a result, then I usually add probably 2 weeks to that, just buffer room for people who maybe take a little bit longer, so that everyone gets a wow result. And what I mean by this is that, let's say that you can guarantee that someone's going to lose their first 2 kilos in 4 weeks, and you're like super solid that that happens every time. I would say lose your first 2 kilos in 6 weeks, because when they lose it in 4 weeks, what happens is they're like, oh my God, amazing. I got it so much faster than you said. And they're fucking stoked. Yeah. And then they'll probably go tell all their friends. Whereas if you say lose 2 kilos in 4 weeks and they do lose 2 kilos in 4 weeks, they're like, okay, cool. Like, you told me that was what was going to happen, and it happened. They're not they're not incredibly wowed by that, because they're like, you did what you said. Like, it's nothing above and beyond what you committed to doing or saying that you could do. And so they're just whelmed rather than underwhelmed, overwhelmed. Yeah. So getting clear on that offer and creating a really wow experience is the second thing that Brendan did in terms of that offer, that signature method of him and how he gets people results. So it doesn't just feel like, oh, this guy could probably somehow teach me how to dunk. It's like, this is his signature method and it's worked with lots of people before. Yeah, adds credibility and authority for Brendan as the dunk specialist. Third thing that we did was literally he just boosted one of his posts. So, like, as in paid money to boost one of his Instagram posts that was already there. Now, I don't usually recommend this strategy because it can be quite vague and broad and you don't get as much targeting as Meta. But we had talked about that before, and it had just been something that just had felt a bit of the too hard basket, and it takes a bit more time. And so we were like, fuck it, let's just try this, chuck $10 a day to it and just let it run. Yeah. And if it's working, then when you see the results, then let's dive into the depths of Meta and get a little bit more specific with the targeting and things like that. But yeah, I don't generally recommend boosting a post, but in this scenario, it was just a win to get them into doing the thing, i.e. paying for ads that he hadn't done before, to see if he could get some traction on this. Okay. So many more benefits to doing it through Meta ads, because there's much more specificity as to where the post goes, who it goes to, what types of things you want them to see, all that sort of jazz. But in this example, we just boosted a post. Yeah. And the specific post that we boosted, this is the most important thing. So whether you're doing the ads or the boost, is that it was showing the results. So it was like a before and after video, like a reel of someone who couldn't dunk, and then showing them that they could dunk, and seeing like the height difference in their hops to actually hit the rim to be able to create their first dunk. So it was visual. It showed the results or the outcome. So in weight loss, you could show someone like training in the gym. You could show someone holding up their pants that were like twice the size of them, whatever it is. But you're showing visually that you can get these results. You're not just telling people, hey, I can help people dunk. You're like, I did it. See? Jimmy did it. Yeah. This was Jimmy in 2020. This was Jimmy in 2021. And look how incredible his performance is, or whatever. Okay. Now, the fourth thing is just messaging every single current Instagram and new Instagram follower. Okay. Now, people may be like, oh, but I don't want to do this, la la la. It's like, cool, but would you do it if it meant that you got 7 new clients this month? Because I don't know about you, but if you do the math on that, that's probably going to be a lot of money in your pocket from just sending a few messages. Now, we do not send messages that feel sleazy, icky, or cold DMing people. So I'm not going to just send it to some random person on the internet. These are his followers. They already have some level of know, like, and trust of him, because they know who he is, because they're following him. Yeah. So when we talk about messaging these people, there were 3 things that we did in this order, and I want to give everything to you. Like I said, no gatekeeping today. So the first thing was to say hi and provide them value. Yeah. So, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I have a freebie on, I don't know what Brendan did, but let's say, just wondering, can you dunk yet or not? Because I've got a free video or whatever that I can send to you, depending on like where you're at, to help improve your dunking. And then they would say, I can't dunk, or I can dunk. And then he would say, cool, no worries. What's your best email? I'll flick you the freebie that you can just have. And then they would give the email. He's like, great. And then because the conversation had started, he'd opened it. It was asking, cool, like, what are your goals with dunking? Like, what do you actually want to be able to do? And so it might be they want a windmill dunk, or they want to be able to, they just want to get their first dunk, or whatever it is. So he's figured out what their goal is. And then the third thing that we changed was he was going into like, cool, how many days a week are you training? Like, are you doing gym? And he was getting into the real nitty gritty of the information he would need to write someone a program. And then he got friend zoned. Yeah. So we are not here to friend zone ourselves in the DMs by chatting back and forth and having all this conversation. And then you've done like, 20 messages back and forth. And then they're like, oh, okay, cool. And they don't feel like you're like, there's no lead into actually being like, yo, I can help you. This is the offer. Okay. So it would also just take far longer because he was trying to get all this information. Then people are like, oh, like, why would I tell this randomly on the internet how many days a week I'm training? Right. Like, for what? Like, yo, I've already given a freebie at like, okay. So what we did instead is I said, scrap that. You're going to say hi, offer the freebie. Then you're going to ask their goals. And the third thing that you do is once you know their goals and you're clear on their goals, don't ask about the specifics or the intricacies of how they're training, what they're currently doing, what's blah, blah, blah. You just go, would you like help with that? And then offer to book a call so they can work with you. Okay. Or you can talk about the options to work with them. And literally from this strategy, Brendan got 7 new clients in 1 month and 3 clients the month before. So this is something that he even was getting these clients even when he was semi-friend zoning himself, but when we edited it, it was so much better. So I'm just going to go back through everything so that you can potentially write this down, the steps that you need and exactly what to say to get potentially your 7 new clients for free with this simple strategy that I'm gifting to you today. So the first thing is niche down. Yeah. The second thing is get clear on your offer and your method, how you get that result. The third thing is putting a little bit of money, a little bit of ad spend to an ad, either boosting a post or through meta ads, yeah, or having a post that is a like it shows visually the before and after, okay. And then the fourth thing is messaging every single Instagram follower and every single new follower with 3 things, okay. The first thing is say hi, offer a freebie. The second thing is ask for their goals. What are they working towards? The third thing is ask if they'd like help with that and offer to book a call. Cool? That is it. Let me know how you go. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, move swiftly. Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.